Hi, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for you. Let's talk about the 2004 film, Night Watch. I've been rewatching Timur Bekmambetov's movies, and this is where I first heard his name, or at least read it, because I didn't hear it. It's based on a 1998 novel called The Night Watch. There was also a Day Watch, and a Last Watch was the last third book that never got made into a movie. This is a Russian film. The original version is a little over 2 hours. The international version is a little under 2 hours. This was a big deal because, A, it was the Russian entry for Best Foreign Language Film at the Academy Awards that year, although it wasn't accepted. And it was the first time that I can remember a company like 20th Century Fox releasing a Russian language film in U.S. theaters. It only made about $1.5 million, but it went on to gross over $50 million on a budget that was originally $4.2 million. So big, huge hit. And it was green-lighted to make the second one. That went on to be released and do quite well. And they just never made the third one. They couldn't get it off the ground. They were talking about making it an English version, but the director signed on to do Wanted because he just wasn't going to wait around anymore. And they never got it off the ground. So the third book has never been made. I read the books back in the day, so I have a different perspective on the movie than a lot of people do. It's a different take on vampires. The idea behind the film is, since the dawn of time, there's been good and bad, and the forces of light and the forces of dark met, a few hundred years ago and realized that they couldn't one-up each other, so they formed a truce. There's a night watch and a day watch. The bad guys rule the day watch, the good guys rule the night watch, and there are certain people that are born that have supernatural abilities. Those are called others, and they either have to pick one side or the other. And that's kind of the gist. There's a great thing in the book that they didn't carry over to the movies, that when you curse somebody, like somebody cuts you off in traffic and you go, you whatever, they get a little cloud of curse over their head and it stays with them. And if they get more of that during the day, it starts weighing on them. But anyway, they didn't include that in the film. But what they did do is the fact that the others can't be seen by normal humans. And that's how you find out at certain points of the film that certain people are not what they appear to be because they can see things that they shouldn't be able to see. Our main character is a dude we're introduced to in the beginning. He goes to a witch in the 90s to basically get his wife to come back to him. They decide the best way to do that is for her to miscarry because he feels that she's carrying someone else's child. So before they can finish the spell, security officers from the Night Watch, Day Watch come break in, and he can see them. So that's when you know he's another, and the story takes off from there. There is a little bit at the beginning where we see the two forces meet back in, the times of knights in shining armor and how we get to the truce. There's a lot of voiceover. And one of the best things about watching this movie now, when it was released in theaters, it had really cool subtitles. They were animated. Like if the scene was taking place and a character was lying in a pool of blood or whatever, then the subtitles would look like they were shimmering in a pool of blood and they would disappear. It was really interesting. Well, when it came out on Blu-ray and DVD, they didn't do that in the U.S. release. But now on streaming services like Vudu/Fandango at home, you're getting that international version, but with those original subtitles. They're really interesting, really well done. I find that fascinating. I did watch this on streaming. I don't normally do that, but I own digital copies of both these movies because my Blu-rays were in storage for so long. I wanted to watch the films. But anyway, I haven't watched Night Watch in forever. And I watched it with two different mindsets going on. The first was that, well, I've seen this movie before and I've read the book and I know what's going on, so I want to watch it as a film, see how well the adaptation is, because I haven't watched it in over a decade. The other side of it was, what would somebody think if they first watched this movie? I think it's a good movie. If you've never seen it and you don't know anything about it, you could go in and be entertained in this weird version of vampires and day watches and night watches and supernatural stuff going on. It's just a different take on that whole ballgame. Just, you've never seen anything like it. And Day Watch continues the story. There's quite the plot twist at the end of the first movie that I won't give away, but it leads to you ready to watch the second movie immediately. I wish they had made a third. I think the directing is fantastic. There's a few rough around the edges scenes, but again, this was a $4 million budget back in 2004. Computer-generated effects were still brand new, trying to do some of the things they do. There's some major set pieces in this film. There's some major action scenes in this film. It is why Timur got the job to work in America on things like Wanted, because, well, he could already handle it on low-budget productions. Why not give him some money and let him do some American stuff, which he has done. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, my review is up now. Anyway, it's a weird take on the whole vampire thing. It's not really about vampires. It's more about good and evil. It's more about there's a society going on underneath what we normally see here in the world. And I like all that. I like the mythology of it. Like I said, I have a background in the book, so I appreciate the movie even more. But just watching it as a movie I haven't seen for years, and would it play out if somebody sitting next to me knew nothing about it? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a little long and it's a little slow in places, but it does have a decent pace, and I didn't have a problem with it at all. Matter of fact, watching it this time was almost a revelation, because I remembered what I really liked about it: the directing, the acting. Everybody takes it very seriously, and that's really good. So I'm going to rewatch Daywatch here in the near future. It's even longer, if I remember correctly, and I don't think it was as good an adaptation as the first one, but I don't remember, so I will rewatch it soon. But if you have a chance to watch Night Watch, it's available on many streaming services, probably some for free, and you don't mind. It does flip back and forth between Russian and English. It did have a Russian soundtrack originally, but some things were in English to begin with, so they are. But all in all, I didn't find that to be an impediment to it because, like I said, it's got some really interesting subtitles in the way it does it. It's just very artistic and very interesting. So Night Watch, if you're a fan of such things, I would highly recommend it. If you're not, it's probably not going to change your mind. It's an interesting Russian fantasy, and it's not like anything you've ever seen before. But I think it is a good directing job and well done, and I would recommend it. It's available now on streaming services. Night Watch. Next up, Day Watch. Scott, I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts on the way, more drone videos too. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.